Welcome to another episode here on the Utah Street Banter. It's opening day eve, everybody. What do we got, Elijah?
We're going to be talking about some news around the league.
We got Orioles record predictions and AL East predictions.
We have an in-depth look at all the postseason awards.
We're going to give our opinions on what we're being optimistic about going into the season.
Let's get started, everybody.
Tomorrow's the team that everyone's going to probably have to go through at some point to get to the World Series.
Swing a fly ball! Oh my goodness gracious! That is a grand
Welcome to the Utah Street Banter Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode here on the Utah Street Banter Podcast. I'm Cody. With me, like always, is Elijah and Greg. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Not too bad. Excited.
Yeah, it's opening day eve. Opening day is tomorrow for the Baltimore Orioles, and we are super excited for that. If you've been following us all off-season long, you kind of know how this show goes. If not, welcome back. Probably you're visiting us again from last year, I hope. And we're here to have some fun, right? So let's see how this goes. Like I said, the Orioles play the Minnesota Twins on opening day tomorrow. I'm going to be at the game on Saturday. Pretty excited about that. Remember, during this whole season, if you would like to keep up to date each day, we have the UtahStreetBanter.com that you can visit at any time. You'll also see some of our some articles that we write, and also just up-to-date news, mainly Orioles, but we do have some around the league news also. So stay with us with that. But let's get started with our new 2026 in-season podcast. I am ready for this. We're finally weekly now. That's the goal. Right, as long as Elijah can stay with us, he's the slacker in the group. And
sorry, I went abroad for a semester.
It's fine. It's whatever, So no, I think I mean we got a lot to talk about today. I think this is going to be a fun season. I truly do. I'm very much more optimistic about this year than I was last season. Some people were shocked about last season. I was shocked how the injury riddled it was, but not about the not making the playoffs version. I mean, me and my family, we always go to the second game of the year. That's our rule. And we always get an opening day t-shirt because they're still there. But the second game of the year we went to last year and Charlie Morton pitched, and it just got rocked. And it just didn't get, it got a little better, but in like July. But it was rough. It was rough. But before we get into that, we always start every podcast with This Week in Baseball, and we're going to go and have Elijah talk about some around the league news. All you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, before I talk about baseball, you may be looking at us. He just said that his family always goes to the opening day, second game of the season. You may look, I kind of look like Cody. I am his family. Don't worry. I've never once been invited to go to that game with him. I've been basically abandoned by the family as a collective. They go on cruises. Well, they will be going on cruises.
I won't be there that week.
They take vacation. Yeah, he's talking about commitment. He's the one that's going to be missing here in a couple weeks. So just remember, I'm here with you. He won't be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Orioles news. One of the bigger things that come out is that Dean Kramer's not going to be on. He's not going to be on the team opening day, which is just a shock, but not a shock. If you listened last week to me and Greg's episode, we did discuss kind of the possibility of the 6-man rotation, or maybe having a 5-man for a little bit, him coming up eventually to supplement. And we all kind of collectively think that's what's going to end up happening here. He'll spend about maybe 1 or 2 starts down at AAA, and then he'll come back up and join the major league team. I don't expect this to be a long-term thing, but it's definitely notable. And then moving away from Orioles news, trying to get some more just baseball and general news. The Yankees, they play today. They play the Giants, take on Logan Webb, who's the ace of my fantasy baseball team. So hopefully he throws like a perfect game. That'd be pretty nice for me. But they have an interesting rotation to start the year. They are not just having a 5-man rotation like the Orioles. They're running out a 4-man rotation with Luis Gil not even making the opening day roster. So it's just kind of interesting. You don't really see that much. So it's just interesting to see how that plays out. Hopefully horribly. But we can dream, But personally, one thing that I do actually enjoy, it's a rare thing for me to say I'm happy with something that happened to the Yankees. But Ben Rice has a new endorsement. he has a new deal now and a sponsorship with Ben's Rice, like like the microwave bags of rice.
Wow, that's perfect.
I mean, it's right on the money, right? Like I think that might be the most perfect advertisement thing I've ever heard of or seen.
Yeah.
So good job to everyone that got part of that.
Yeah.
I know Cody, he's on your fantasy team, right?
He is, yes, and
He'll probably get hurt then.
Yeah,
knowing how his fan. Cody, you said you have 7 people in the IL.
7.
So it's not looking good for Ben Rice.
Yeah.
But jumping over some Cubs news, Pete Crow Armstrong just signed an extension with the Cubs, 6 years, $115 million. And Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westberg, Adley Rutschman, not Basayo. He's the one we did lock up. But basically anyone else on the team that you look at that we could lock up. You look to see Pete Crow Armstrong's much better than some of our young guys, so you'd think it's a lot cheaper. But we'll leave it at that. We're trying to be happy today. We're trying to be optimistic. So we're not going to talk about that. So good for PCA. That's a good deal for him. Good deal for the Cubs. I enjoy watching him play. He's an exciting player to watch. Yeah. Someone that I wouldn't be excited to watch is if I'm an Angels fan, their rotation looks very awful this year.
What about Grayson?
So Mr. Dead Arm. So Grayson Rodriguez, he's starting here on the IL. And I actually saw a picture the other day from inside Angel Stadium. And obviously at every baseball stadium, you have different posters and flags and different banners and stuff with different players on it, right? Normally it's your marquee players. Like for Orioles, it's going to be Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, Ryan Helsley, Adley Rutschman. Well, there is a pillar at Angel Stadium that has the one and only Alek Manoah on it. And I just think that's so funny and so sad. I feel so bad for Angels fans. It's rough. And he's hurt too. He's not even going to make the opening day rotation.
Gosh.
So it's rough over there. I feel bad for him. We took Taylor Ward from him, one of their few bright spots. So he'll be great in orange and black.
Yeah, maybe they should just do like past players. I mean,
I'm gonna be honest. I would just have everything's Mike Trout. Everything's Mike Trout.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, to talk a little bit of some Orioles stuff with the Dean Kramer thing is a little crazy just to think of like a guy that's been pitching with us for so long, and now he is sent down to AAA. I completely agree with the reasoning. But if let's say that's not the actual reason, if you look, Dean Kramer does have his worst performances at the beginning of the year. So it seems like he takes a minute to get ramped up. That being said, I'm hoping the WBC may have helped with that. I don't know. But that's something, just to remember. The Orioles, they did finish 500, a 500 winning percentage in Sarasota, 13-13 for whoever cares about that. It's just the biggest thing is that the players that you wanted to do well and perform, they sure did. Kobe Mayo had a great spring. O'Neill even had a good spring. So really excited about that. Obviously, you got to see Alonso. He hits a home run in the first game and, gets you hyped up. Taylor Ward looked great. So the Orioles had a really good spring. I don't know if you're an Orioles fan, I would very much tell you to go on YouTube or on our website and check out some of the interviews that Craig Albernaz, our new head coach, had. A very smart man. Neat to kind of learn about him. But yeah, so Luis Vasquez in spring training in one of the last few games, he gets hit with an inside fastball and breaks his right thumb. He also needed stitches. Really feel bad for him. He was on the bubble of making the team. So don't know if he would have made it. Obviously, there's some people that I thought were in front of him, but that it's not always the case because sometimes what I think doesn't seem to work out. Another thing that was really cool is in spring training they had a spring training game at Camden Yards, and it was really stinking cool to see the new upgrades at the stadium. That scoreboard is massive. The ribbon around the stadium looks cool. I like the seating and standing room underneath of that new scoreboard. I'm not a fan of the suite behind home plate because basically unless you work for somebody that's wealthy or you're somebody that's wealthy, I also don't want to sit inside an enclosed space at a baseball game. Like I want the whole atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, not much has happened. We got opening day, and I am excited about opening day. So we shall see. Greg, what are you most excited for here in opening day coming up? What are you excited about the Orioles? I know you're a Cubs fan, and we need you on our podcast. Bring us back down the earth. That's why you're here. Me and Elijah, we get very fan heavy, and you're on this podcast as we would like to say a level-headed person, but we know that's wrong.
I'm excited just for the season. I know we talked about it for the season last year. I think the parity in baseball, I say that, I know the Dodgers won the World Series, but I think there is a lot of parity, especially after maybe the 1, 2, 3 teams. You got a lot of competition. I mean, with the Indians making it, the last 2 years?
Guardian.
Or the Guardians, excuse me.
Don't want to get canceled today.
No. But
First
no,
podcast for you.
I just think it's exciting if you're one of the fans of probably about the top 20 teams.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, fans will go out, they continue to watch the games, they go to the ballpark for most of the season.
Yeah.
And I think if baseball's done anything right, they figured out how to keep fans interested longer. So I mean, the weather's getting better and just baseball's back.
What a great segue into Elijah's next thing, where you want to talk about the MLB power rankings.
Yeah, so power rankings just came out, and surprise, surprise, the Dodgers are first.
What?
It's not really a surprise, but I will say my not shocking thing, it just caught me off guard that in the top 10, they have 4 AL East teams. And the Orioles are the last one. It's just shocking. The Red Sox are 7th, Yankees are 4th, and Blue Jays are 2nd. It's the defending American League champions. Mariners are on there, so are the Mets, the Phillies, the Cubs, and the Tigers. And I personally believe that this is not quite accurate, in my opinion. I think, honestly, the top 3 are fairly accurate. I do think the Dodgers, Blue Jays, and Mariners are the best team in baseball at this point of the season. Obviously, no one's played yet, so it doesn't really matter. But I'd be more interested to look at it maybe in a month here to see where this all lies out. I think the Orioles are better than the Tigers. I think they're better than the Red Sox. I'd argue to say they're better than the Phillies. I'm not sure if they're better than the Cubs. I think I'd want to see the Cubs play a few weeks before I say anything. And I know, Greg, you might have an opinion on that just because you are a Cubs fan to say which team's better. I think the Orioles and Cubs, though, I would argue to say that they're better than the Phillies, Red Sox, and Tigers at least.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think the I tell you what,
Phillies are good.
If Wheeler is healthy, the Phillies they've got 3 pitchers that can all pitch for Cy Young. I mean, they really could.
Yeah.
So the Phillies are crazy.
Yeah, I think their pitching depth is definitely going to hurt them this year. This is their weakest. This is probably their weakest rotation and bullpen since they've gotten back up since 2020, 2021, whenever they started doing really good again. In my opinion, at least, obviously they could all prove me wrong and their rotation could be the best in baseball. I don't know. Obviously I'm optimistic on the Orioles, and I feel like I'm always higher on the Cubs than they end up being too.
Yeah. It's when I look at this, I'm actually a little bit totally different than you guys, I think. I think the Blue Jays are way too high. I don't think the Blue Jays pitching staff, I think their pitching staff fell perfectly last season. I think their lineup is good. They lost Bo Bichette. We'll see how that goes. Bo Bichette is a bigger loss than I think people are going to think. And I also think the Mariners lineup isn't, I don't think Cal Riley does it again. I hope he proves me wrong because I like Cal Riley, but I don't think he does. I think the Mariners have one of the best pitching staffs in all of baseball, so I'll say that. And pitching wins games, so that I'm kind of contradicting myself on this. So, but when I look at that team, they will win their division, but they are in a weak division. So yeah, okay. Yankees are good. They're gonna be good. I actually think they're a little low, to be honest with you. I'm a Yankee hater, but I think you get Garrett Cole. I think Rendon, Schlitter, I think is good. And what's his name? He played for the Braves, lefty. On the
Freed.
Fried. Everybody's
Max
yelling at
Fried.
me that listen to us. Max Fried. The Yankees look good, man, and anyway, everything that we're saying is meaningless. I get that. What's not meaningless? You know what we're going to take super seriously, and you should listen. And when you place your bets this year, make sure you focus on this. We are going to do the Orioles record and AL East predictions.
Just make sure when you place your bets, do it on the one that I say.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. That's going to go well.
Because I will say, I think before we even start anything, I'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. I think there's one thing we can all agree on.
What's that?
The Rays are in 5th place.
Yes, the Rays are.
I think and then that's all I'm going to say we agree on.
Yeah. So as we do this every year. This is a fun kind of thing we do. Obviously, we're normally wrong, so you can hopefully agree with us if you're an Orioles fan. Listen to this, because we're trying to be optimistic. Me and Elijah are. As Greg's going to be like, well, you won't win 500. Go 500. But this is the hardest division you possibly can predict. I do believe that you don't have to say there's the best teams in this division, but we are the closest in talent, in my opinion, in our division. And that's the only bad thing about being an Orioles fan. If we could just be on, like, can we play for the AL West title? Like, please, that'd be great. Anyway, let's get started. I'll go first since I'm the one talking, right? And this is no, I'm just kidding. All right, let's get started. So my team rankings are in 5th place. We've already said it. Will be the Tampa Bay Rays. I have that they win under 80 games. That's all I have. The Blue Jays I have in 4th place. Okay. I have that they win under 88 games. Okay. The Red Sox I have in 3rd. I think the Red Sox seem to do really well when nobody's really talking about them. Nobody's really putting too much pressure on them. I think Roman Anthony is going to be amazing. I think their pitching staff is underrated. I think they go 89 and 73. I think the Baltimore Orioles finish in 2nd place. I think they finish with an 89 and 73 record also. I think it's going to be a tie in 2nd and 3rd. And number 1, obviously, because, is the New York Yankees. I think they have 92 wins, 70 losses. I hope to God I'm wrong. Elijah, what do you got?
So I'll start the same place you did. Rays, 5th place. I have them finishing 77 and 85, which, by the way, Cody, I feel like you cheated out here. You didn't give them a win total. I feel like that's not fair.
And
you want to know why I said 77 85? That's the record last year. And I don't think they got any better or any worse from last year. Yeah. They're even as last year. That's my opinion. They're gonna.
I agree.
They're gonna win a couple games against each of the 4 teams ahead of us. That's gonna hurt them and knock them down a playoff spot or something like that, because that's what they do. Moving on, 4th place. I have the Boston Red Sox, and Cody, for the same reason that you argued that no one's been talking about them. I feel like they're being overhyped. I feel like I have heard a lot of talk about them. I do think it's a lot because of their rotation, but I feel like Sonny Gray is not as good as he's going to be. People are thinking Sonny Gray's like a top 10 pitcher in baseball, and I don't think Sonny Gray's as good as he's going to be. They have a good couple young guys. We'll see what that rotation does. I don't think their offense holds up. Roman Anthony's going to be good, though. I do agree with that. I think they finish 82 and 80, though, and I don't think they make a playoff spot. But then at the same time, they could win the division. I understand that this is all very fluid. It's not going to – the chances that any of our picks are right at all, even just the records, very low. I have the Orioles finishing in 3rd place, 88-74. I see us sliding in right as a 2nd or 3rd wild card spot. It's kind of what the team is, in my opinion, right now. I think we'll explain a little bit as we go on, probably. And throughout the season, we'll explain why I believe they're good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to win the division. 2nd place, I have the Yankees, 90-72. Basically, all the reasons you said, I think that's where I think they're a 90-win team. They're the same as the Rays. That's basically their record last year. They won 94 games last year. I have them winning 4 less. They could win 94 again, though. It's the same exact team as last year. Very little changes. Their bullpen got worse, in my opinion. That's really it. And then I have the Blue Jays winning the division. You say that you think the Blue Jays are going to really decline here after winning the American League, taking the Dodgers to 7 games into extra innings and almost winning the World Series. I think they're going to win 95 games this year. And I understand Bo Bichette is a big loss, but other than that, they improved in every other asset. I think their bullpen got better with Tyler Rogers. I think their rotation may need strides to get better. It might not be better, but it's going to be around the same. I mean, you bring in Dylan Cease. He's an ace. He has some interesting stuff. I think they overpaid him, but he's still an ace. And I'm intrigued to see how their new third baseman, Kazuma Okamoto, does. He's the Japanese guy they brought in to replace Bichette. If he is serviceable, I think they could be, and how I kind of have them shaping up to be, the best or second best team in the American League. It's either them and the Mariners are the 2 best teams in the American League, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's crazy how, for instance, I said I have the Blue Jays in 4th place, and I said that they're going to win under 88 games. You have them in 1st place, and they win 7 more games? Isn't that crazy? That's how tight the division is.
Mm-hmm.
But so you could be absolutely right. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I literally, if I saw your rankings, I feel like I could argue that too. Does that make sense to you? It's that tight. What do you got, Gray?
Well, we'll start with the Rays in 5th.
They're gonna win the division.
Yeah, really. I would go to say that they are below 72 wins. I'm just not a fan of the pitching staff. I'm just not much fan of the Rays. Then 4th, I got the Orioles at 84-78. Now, in saying that, they could win 95 games, which is only 9 more games. I mean, if their pitching staff is healthy, especially the starters, and they hit, they could win 95 games and be in the playoffs, win the division. I mean, that's how I think this division is the tightest in baseball. So, and the difference between the Orioles and the Jays, who I have at first, is probably 8 games. So we'll go Orioles, then 3rd's Red Sox. I think all of us kind of are right in that area for the Red Sox. Anytime you have maybe the 2nd best pitcher in the American League, 1st sometimes in Crochet, I mean, they're in it the whole time. I think the Red Sox can be real scary. 2nd's the Yankees, getting Cole back. I question their offense. And I know that sounds weird, but Bellinger had a really good year last year. I seen him with the Cubs. I seen him collapse. And I think they have to make sure the Yankees got hot when Stanton got hot at the end of the year. And in middle to end of the year, he got better. Bellinger was better. I mean, the Yankees could also just not have the offense. I know it's weird to say with Judge and everything. And at first, the Jays, I just think watching them in the playoffs last year, and I know you can't create the playoffs from day one. It's 162 games. It's a lot. But, man, Guerrero, the young kids, that Clement kid, that kid can play ball, and he just hits. The right fielder, he was really good. I think, and if the Okamoto, I think is his name,
yeah,
the 3rd baseman, I mean, they said he's legit, so we'll see how that goes. But now I'm not high on Cease. I haven't been, but that team is, if Guerrero is the player and has taken the next step, like I think he has, I mean, he could be sitting there with Judge in the MVP conversation. But the win totals between 1st and 4th, I think you're in that 8 games.
Yeah.
That's how tight that division is going to be, barring, as long as you don't have a major meltdown with injuries. I mean, you look at the Orioles last year, they couldn't hit beginning of the season, they had injuries. So, I mean, that eliminated it from any chance. But if everything breaks right, and that's going to be, it's a crazy division.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny how, you listen to an interview in April, in May. They're like, you know what? It's a long season. But boy, how annoying is it when it's the last week of September and you're 4 games out of first? And that bad series against the Minnesota Twins in opening weekend bites you in the butt. You know what I mean? So this is going to be a year where I think every game really is going to matter. And that's really hard in baseball because 162 games is a long time. We got something other fun. We're going to do Around the League award winners.
I want to interrupt before we move on. I want to hear you guys' World Series predictions.
Oh, okay.
While we're talking about record predictions, might as well get that before we get to our.
You want a matchup or do you want the World Series winner?
I want matchup and winner. So I'll start with mine. I have Mariners over Dodgers. I think Mariners. I think they're built. They have the pitching to withstand the playoffs. I think them and the Blue Jays were 2 juggernauts that met in the playoffs last year. I think they can replicate the season they have, even if Raleigh does decrease in what his production was. And I just don't see anyone competing with the Dodgers in the National League. I think that you put the Dodgers in the American League and they probably don't make the World Series, or it's much tougher for them, but they have very little competition until the NLCS, most likely.
What do you got, Greg?
Detroit and Philly. If you're Detroit, you spent a lot of money on Valdez, and this is a put up or shut up year for Skubal. I think Detroit may have the top 2 pitchers back to back, and when you get in the playoffs, if you can figure out how to make it work, I mean, there's 4 games right there if you're in the playoffs. And the Phillies, I think the Phillies can run 3 pitchers out there, and they have the offense, but they can run 3 pitchers out there and they're back into their bullpen with Duran and the guy that got suspended last year. It's
Alvarado.
That's filthy. And that I would say the Phillies win it, but it would be Detroit and Phillies.
Yeah. All right. I hope this doesn't happen because I'm not gonna watch the World Series if this is the case. I'm saying I don't know why I'm so big on this team this year, but I think the Dodgers. It's hard to bet against because it's the Dodgers. And I think Red Sox. I think Dodgers, Red Sox.
Really?
Repeat 2018.
I don't know why I'm so. I think the Red Sox can be so good, and it's scary.
Just a reminder, he says they're going to be so good. He had them in 3rd place in the division.
But they win the wild card.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the Red Sox as far as their?
Yeah, I just think. So I think Crochet will win 9. I think he's going to lose maybe 2 games. I think that. Why am I? My mind's not the guy they just got from the Phillies. Suarez is going to dominate for them. I think their bullpen, Chapman is probably not going to be Chapman of last year, but he's still better than everybody else's. They get late in the innings. I think they're going to be good. I really think their rookie right fielder is going to be really good. So Roman Anthony. I feel like there's a lot going for them right now. And the Dodgers are just hard to not bet against. If I wasn't allowed to say the Dodgers, I think the Phillies are a really good team in the National League also. So we shall see. And that was, I like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I know you thought I was gonna say like Pirates Rays, World Series.
I would love an Orioles Marlins World Series.
Oh my gosh!
Don't be shocked. Hey, do not be shocked when the Marlins win a wild card game this year. Don't be shocked.
If that were the case, we would be on the Roku TV. The World Series on Roku TV because they wouldn't even give us a channel.
No, they wouldn't.
You're that free channel on Roku,
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. Let's go to our Around the League award winner predictions. We'll do each category at a time here. Okay. All right. So, Greg, who is your AL MVP winner?
I come down between 2 guys.
Okay.
Aaron Judge and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Okay.
If I had to pick the winner between those 2, I'm going to go Guerrero this year.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. What do you got, Elijah?
Yeah, I have for my AL MVP, Nick Kurtz. You sit okay. Cody's over here. Cody doesn't know enough about the Oakland Athletics, who are gonna get the Oakland Athletics. You heard it here first. They will be second place in the AL West. Don't know if they'll win. Make it to the wild card, but I think they're the second best team in that division. Their lineup top 10 in baseball, and Nick Kurtz could have won an MVP if he played a full season last year. He would have won MVP. That's how good he was. Judge was great too. It does hurt him that Judge had a really good season, but still, Nick Kurtz would not surprise me if he came out here won an MVP. And then for the NL, I have Juan Soto. It took a lot just to try and find honestly anyone that I thought that could dethrone dethrone Ohtani. I know you didn't ask for an NL MVP, but I was just going.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Who do you have your NL MVP, Greg?
I was between Shohei and Pete Crow. They're always going to give it to Shohei because he pitches too.
Yeah.
But I think Pete Crow Armstrong, if the Cubs have the season I think they can have, I mean, early on last year, he was right there with him. So I'm going to go Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah, I think, and my AL MVP is Roman Anthony, Boston Red Sox.
You were just all up on the Red Sox. You're going to wear a Red Sox shirt.
Yeah, it's Orioles. It's an opening day shirt from last year. Now, I will say it's also the same as Greg or Elijah. It's between him and Judge. The only thing that is hard is, well, number one, I don't want to pick Judge again. Number two is it's gonna be hard for anybody to beat Judge because of New York bias. Whether you believe it or not, it's unless if you're a Yankee fan, you don't believe it. If you're anybody else, you can see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and my NL MVP is Ohtani because of people love him and he's the poster child of baseball.
I'm just wondering when the voter fatigue sets in for Judge and Ohtani.
Yeah,
how many times could you win that?
No, and you're right though. I think that the only thing that could stop them from winning is if they don't do as good as they previously did in another MVP. So you'll actually think they declined, but it's sort of like Mike Trout. Mike Trout for a lot of years was the best player in baseball, and then he declined a little bit, but from his own stats. He was still ahead of everybody else, but because he declined from his own stats, it sort of looked like he was digressing, right? But really, he just was a freak. Okay, so AL Cy Young and NL Cy Young Award. Elijah, you want to start this one?
Yeah, I mean, I just ran it back with who won it this past year, Scooble and Skeens.
Hard to not.
I think, I don't know. I could see Crochet winning it in the AL. I could see a couple different people in the NL. I just don't understand. They're both like aliens at this point.
Yeah.
And Scooble's out there pitching. I mean, he wins another Cy Young. That's another $10 million a year.
Yeah.
That's in his mind.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Greg has said this in the past. I know he said this to me, I think, is there is not a ton of ace pitchers. Like, there's ace pitchers, but then there's like, my guy is always going to beat your guy. Does that make sense? So, and Scooble is that guy. Crochet's that guy. Yamamoto's on the verge, right? But there's not like 6 to 10 of them, right? There's very few, and that's exactly what Crochet wants because he's getting ready to get paid. My guy was Tarek Skubal, AL Cy Young, because I think he's the best. And NL Cy Young is, in my opinion, is going to be Yamamoto. I think he's going to build off of last season. Could be totally wrong. I would, it could easily be Paul Skeens, but I'm just going to say Yamamoto. What you got, Greg?
Scooble, AL. I've thought about Crochet too because I think they're 1 and 1A right there. They're really close.
Yeah.
And in the NL, I got Skeens. And I had Shohei written down as being close, but I think Sanchez. If the Phillies are as good as I think they can, he finished second last year. Sanchez is right there, but the only way Skeens doesn't win the Cy Young is if he has over a 3 ERA.
Yeah.
I mean, last year look at what he did last year. It's not like his team was any good.
Yeah.
And he still dominated Cy Young.
Yeah. Just thank God Skeens didn't pitch in the 1990s because he would have never been a top 10 vote in Cy Young because they're all like Cody and think wins matter.
Moving on.
I think wins matter, though.
All right. The AL and NL Rookie of the Year. Greg, I'll let you start this one.
Okamoto for the Jays. He's not a rookie, but he is a rookie.
Yeah.
And he qualifies for it. And I think Nolan McLean for the Mets.
Yeah. Yep.
And there's really, to me, not a ton of, I would say, rookies. Like, I'm just in the NL, there's a little more positional rookies. But I think I'm going to go with those two.
Okay. We got Elijah.
For the AL, I said Dylan Beavers. And now he's not even the Oriole that you would have thought would have been the most likely. But my opinion on this, and this is my thinking, back to 2 years ago, Jackson Holiday was coming up, and I made it known that I thought Jackson Holiday is going to be a good player. But I said I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have the best season of a rookie on an Oriole. And by golly, I was right, because Colton Cowser was runner-up in Rookie of the Year that year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just going to run it back, say Bassai was going to be great, but I think Beavers is going to be even better. And instead of getting robbed like Cowser was, I think Beavers can take it home. I was close between Beavers and Kevin McGonigal for the Tigers. I think he's going to be good. I just think Beavers has potential to get more playing time and more at-bats throughout the entire season than McGonigal could. And then for the NL, I'm right with you, Greg. I said Nolan McLean. I mean, we all saw what he did in the World Baseball Classic. And yeah, he gave up a few runs, but he was facing some of the best batters in the world when giving up those runs. Yeah. And yet again, I mean, he hasn't played a full season yet, so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I have on my AL Rookie of the Year is Trey Savage. I think the little bit that he got in last year is really going to help him this year. And I also think it's easy for a young kid to kind of overachieve a little bit on a team like the Blue Jays, you know what I mean? And, you're playing for a pennant, right? So it's going to be a little extra if you even need extra. But and then I can't believe this, but my NL is the same as you guys, is Nolan McLean. Now my NL, I wanted to put Connor Griffin in with this. I'm just nervous about how the Pirates are going to handle this because they love to store people in the minors as long as possible. So, and if it's tight, I think you give it to Nolan McLean. But who knows, right? And the last one, let's get here the AL and NL Manager of the Year, Elijah. Go right ahead, buddy.
So for the American League, I put down Craig Albernaz, and I think it's going to be very easy for him to win this award. I honestly think if the Orioles make the playoffs and they seem like they're having fun while doing it, he's a shoe-in for it. But my one caveat is if the Oakland Athletics do make the playoffs, I would not be surprised if Mark Kotsay, the manager for the A's, if he wins it. He could definitely win it as well. I think the fact that they're not even in a major league stadium, a lot of young guys, it's a lot of adversity over there. I don't think anyone could say that Mark Kotsay going into that job a year or two ago, whenever he got started being the manager for the A's, could have turned it around this quickly and done with that group what they've done. So I think it's between the two of them. And then for the National League, I already mentioned the Marlins before, but it's Clayton McCullough as my pick. Manager for the Marlins. I think the Marlins are going to have another shocking year. I kind of put them in the same boat as the A's. I think they overachieved last year. They were a little bit ahead of schedule for their retool rebuild that they did. I think they got a lot of young guys coming up. Owen Casey, he showcased for Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic. Wouldn't be surprised if they come up and they surprise people. And if they could sneak into a wild card spot, I think he's the NL Manager of the Year.
Yeah, what do you got, Greg?
AJ Hinch from Detroit for AL. He's on the hot seat. I think when you look at the money they spent, and they have two of the best pitchers in baseball, I think it's put up or shut up this year.
Yeah.
If they put up, I can see him winning it. And in the NL, Craig Counsell. Now that would mean the Cubs would have to win their division and probably go to the NL championship. But if they do what they're capable of with their starters, I think they can get there. Who should win it is Dave Roberts, but we'll just go. I mean, he does have the best team, but
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think I could go out there and make it to the playoffs with the Dodgers.
Side note: this is the funniest part because if you listen to any MLB network guys, and I do, and I enjoy some of their shows, but you could tell that Dave Roberts is a good person and that he's well liked, because they're always like, it's much harder than it looks to coach a team that has the best players on it. But I've been a head coach of a team. Greg, you've been a head coach of a team. That you never look at the team that's completely stacked on, oh, you poor guy. Like, it must be hard trying to figure out who you want to pitch today. Or,
Well, that probably is the hardest part.
Right. Yeah.
Is
It's
how
one
do
of the superstars.
Yeah, how do you get enough at bats or enough innings for some of these? I mean, I know that is a problem we all would like to have if we're managing, but that actually is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, imagine if you, Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. My manager of the year, and I am not being a homer on this, but I think it is Craig Albanese. Here's the reason why. I got a pretty good reasoning here. I think the Orioles have the biggest win differential in all of baseball between this past season of 2025 to 2026. Last year, they only won 75 games. Let's say somehow they win. Let's say they do win 90 games. They would be a 15 win differential in one season. That's insane. That's a lot. Normally, you only see 5 to 8, okay, on either side. I mean, anyway, that 15's huge. So that's why, when you see the 85 win for this season, 10 wins is still a big difference, obviously. But I think that will add into the reason why he would be possible winning. And my other guy is Don Kelly, the Pirates manager. The reason is I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the exact same thing. They won 71 games this year. I think they can win 80 games. I think their pitching staff is strong. I think their batters are stronger, right? But I think if you watch much Pirates games, and I watch quite a bit, they give up 8 runs a game. So now, can we keep the runs down because our pitching staff, Jared Jones, Bubba Chandler, Paul Skeens, can they do and win those 3 games and make your 4th and 5th guy, maybe, be competitive there? But that's my reasoning on that. And I really, when I look at manager of the year, most of the time I'm looking at, what's different from the past, right? So that's how I feel about that. We'll see. And yeah, that was fun. We'll see.
It's funny.
We're all wrong.
You picked the 2 most competitive divisions in baseball, the NL Central and the AL East. And those 2 managers have a lot to go against. I mean, it's hard in those 2 divisions to win.
Yeah.
And if the Pirates have potential. You just got to look at who they're stealing games from. Same thing with the Orioles.
Yeah.
Are you stealing games from the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Jays? And I mean, like, what was it? 2 years ago, the Orioles were stealing. I mean, they beat the brakes out of the Yankees that year. I mean, they were were taking games from them all the time.
Yeah, like for instance, like the Pirates is your 3rd place team last season in the National League Central was the Reds. They won 83 games. I think they could compete with the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
And if that would mean they're in the 80s, and that would mean they've won 10 more games. And to me, that is worthy of it. And we'll see. Maybe I think there's no way they don't. I think there's no way they don't improve drastically. I do. I mean, I think this is crazy, but Paul Skeens is getting better. Like, he's getting.
Yeah.
I think Bubba Chandler is going to be good. Jared Jones I think is good. If Bubba Chandler or Jared Jones is on the Orioles, we're talking like them, like they're the Gunnar Henderson of pitching, right? But they're on the Pirates, and you're just waiting for the ownership to blow it up. You're waiting for. But hey, tomorrow, right the hour before opening day tomorrow, that Pirates trade Paul Skeens to the New York Yankees for a bucket of sunflower seeds. So you're just waiting for it. So I don't know. That was fun. I mean, I we'll see who's right. I'm sure I am.
Cody, question: Are the sunflower seeds like Old Bay flavored?
Yeah. They're man, they're
Are they just original ranch?
they're cinnamon churro, cinnamon churro.
Churro?
Yeah, there's a brand that does that. They're yet to pay us
Yeah.
to say anything, so you
Okay. I'm sure
yeah,
they're listening.
yeah, you can figure it out. Yeah. Okay. Last segment here. Stay with us, everybody. Oh, what's one thing to be optimistic about going into next season? Elijah, what you got, man? Let me hear your optimism.
So my optimism is that with Albernaz and Pete Alonso, I really think that this new culture and identity of the team is going to be awesome.
I agree.
I'm really excited to see what Alonso as a leader outside of the shadows of the Yankees and the bigwigs in New York. I'm just really excited to see how he kind of comes into his own as a new player, a new leader for this clubhouse, and how Albernaz helps along with that, what he can do. I feel like the Orioles had a very good identity going into like 2023, and they started losing it 2024, and they completely got away from it last year, and they need something new. I'm really optimistic about the new things to come in that regards. And I'm excited to watch Bradish and Rogers hopefully have 2 healthy seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're healthy, those are 2 aces.
Yeah.
I think if they live up to their potential, those are 2 that can go up with any other 2 pitchers in the league.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, Greg, what you got? What are you optimistic about? They always call you Mr. Optimism.
I'm optimistic on the Orioles season. I can't wait to see the middle of that order. I think when you look at Henderson, Alonso, Ward, if O'Neill's healthy, I mean, they've got some guys who can rake. I mean, they got a lot of pop. They added a lot of pop through their offense. Henderson looked like he matured in the World Baseball Classic, watching his at-bats, watching his approach. He really looked mature as a hitter, and that's scary. I mean, when you can put that in front of having Alonso to protect him in the lineup, if they get a motivated Rushman, they can be a really, really scary team. And I think the optimism for their starting staff, is this year they stay healthy and they can get 30 starts out of each of those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. I am very optimistic about our starting pitching. I can't believe, I guess because I was so hell-bent on getting an ace, I almost missed out that we have 6 starters right now. Dean Kramer is in the minors. He's not going to be there long. So, we could easily have a 6-man rotation. We have Bassett, who I am excited for. I am. And I am very excited for Shane Baz. I want to see what he can do. And I mean, we've been waiting for like 2 years for Bradish to get back, right? So we're super excited about that. And Bradish gets back, you're like, oh, we finally got our ace. No, he's not, because Trevor Rogers is now. So I'm hoping for both of them. I feel like we have an extremely high ceiling of probability. Like we could have a really great, but we're teeter-tottering. Like one bad thing, like whoo, you know what I mean? So that's the thing I'm nervous about. I am nervous about our bullpen. We shall see how that goes, but I am optimistic. Unlike last season, I was not optimistic about our pitching rotation even before it all happened. So that's the problem. Is there was never a time last season during our podcast of the of the day before opening day that I felt like we were trying to figure out how it was going to work to go right. Now we're trying to figure out how it's going to go wrong because it looks good. And then I'm also going to give some love here. This is something we haven't really talked too much about, except for at the beginning. Camden Yards looks legit right now. I mean, it looks amazing. I'm super excited. We actually, whoever's in charge right now, I know you're probably not listening to this, but I mean, the flags are updated, like with the actual people on the team. Great job. Normally, they don't get there until like the second month. The new scoreboard's amazing. The banner around the stadium's amazing. It's sparkly clean. Oh, the sound system's perfect. And you know what my favorite part is? They got rid of the last row of seats in the main concourse. to actually give us walking room around the main concourse of the stadium. They got rid of the very last row. So now instead of that little, a bottleneck that you would have right up against the block there, we have another whole section that you can walk. And I'm a huge fan of that because, maybe instead, maybe those people just buy the tickets that are in the left field, like that upperizer that they never let people in.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot to be optimistic about this year. I do.
Yeah,
I do.
absolutely. And I just want to say one thing before we wrap it up here. Since you're going to the game, you have to get the Scrapple Burger, Cody. You have to try it. You have to let me know how it is.
Yeah, it's funny when I was making the thumbnail for your podcast, because I am the editor of the podcast. I'm like looking up the foods that he's talking about, and the noodles looks. Yeah, I'm not eating that.
And just before you judge Cody, he's a very picky eater. He doesn't eat much of anything new.
Yeah, I'm rough. But I'm on Greg's side. I am like a hot dog and a soda, and sometimes I'll do French fries.
I'm going for the cheap food that they have, the new dollar menu thing, basically.
Yeah, and a soft pretzel. I do like a soft pretzel at a baseball game. Yeah. Now, Baltimore Orioles lady that gives out the soft pretzel, I'm going to tell you straight up. When you flip the tip thing to me on a soft pretzel purchase, I ain't doing it. I'm not tipping for a soft pretzel when all you did was reach to your right, pick the soft pretzel. I've worked in the restaurant industry a lot for a while. All right. And for one, we've never been allowed to do that. But number two, I'm just not tipping soft pretzel tip. Like, I'm just not doing it. So let you know. So when you see me there, don't do that to me. But anyway, let's get the season started. Orioles play the Minnesota Twins tomorrow. I think it's 4:05 or something.
I think it's 3:05.
Is it 3:05? Yep. So it's going to be 70-some degrees. If you're going to the game,
not here. Not up in Pennsylvania. It's going to be cold tomorrow.
It's
serious?
Yeah, it's going to be
this whole week. It's going up here. It's been like the 40s and 50s all week, and that's what it's going to be like until like next week.
Well,
you guys are lucky.
Yeah, have fun with that. Have fun with that. But remember, we are on every week. We're trying to put our podcast out between Monday and Tuesday, or I guess Tuesday and Wednesday. Sorry, between Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll go over, the past week in baseball, and any Orioles news and updates. Remember, we're on the UtahStreetBanter.com, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X. What else are we on? TikTok. All of them. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, right? All of them.
The important ones.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe and give us a 5-star rating if you're listening to us on any other podcast platforms. So that helps us gain a little bit of ground and kind of get our name out there a little easier. But anyway, until next time, we hope we have good news. I said that so many times last season, and we never had good news.
Never did.
We hope we have good news, and I can't wait to share any new experiences we have at Camden Yards as a family. And until next time, thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys.
See ya.
See ya.